And today we are going to talk about chapter 65 to the end of the book in When the Sea Turns to Silver by Grace Lin. And so yeah, we are just gonna finish these chapters and this book, and so we don't actually have a lot that we can, we're actually not having much reviewing to do, because like this part of the book here is just, it's just something else, author's note and stuff like that. So yeah, today we're gonna be doing a little short, but still, I assure you it's gonna be long enough. Okay, but anyway, so let's just start chapter 65. So Yixin was like, Pinmei was really mad at Yixin because he was just acting really, really strange, okay? And do you think that Yixin should tell whatever he has up his sleeve to Pinmei, or do you think that Pinmei should just allow him to have some secrets? And also, why do you think that, if you had been Pinmei, why would you have thought that Yixin was acting so strange? And what are some possibilities on why Yixin was acting just so strange here? Okay, now, do you think that Yixin should have been more understanding and would be like, hey, I get you? Or do you think that Yixin should just be Yixin and hide some things, or else the book wouldn't be fun? What do you think about that? And also, if you had been Pinmei, would you have even allowed Yixin to keep the secret, or would you have made Yixin tell the secret? But anyway, finally, we see, Lady Meng's tear and Yixin's handkerchief, right? Oh, awesome, right? And so, what did you think about that? And do you think that counts as the luminous stone that lights the night? Or do you think that the moon is the luminous stone that lights the night? And do you think that the tear will work or not? Okay. Now, I have a question. Did you actually think that this was gonna get them into the palace? Or did you have a feeling that something wrong was going to happen? Something bad? Okay, now, chapter 66. So, the green soldier came to Ma, right? Because now we're at Ma, right? And so, why do you think that the emperor disguises himself as a green soldier and not who he really is? Because like, if he's the emperor, everybody has to bow. But why isn't that he's disguising as this lowly green soldier, this lowly soldier? Well, I think that maybe it's because he just doesn't want to be recognized for doing his evil deeds, And so, I think that's why. And he just doesn't want to be recognized because it's so inconvenient if people are like, oh, that's the emperor, he's doing an evil deed. But if he's dressed in this disguise, nobody will be like, that's the emperor, Okay, now the story of the three evils. The story of the three evils was, Mama told it, right? Because she was reminded by the emperor. And so now, I just wanted to ask you, what is a good theme that you can learn from that story? Maybe it's to be a hero. It just doesn't mean you have to really face all the problems and not just. So what I really mean was, do you think, he reformed and lived a life of peace, right? And then he was a great hero. He did all those great things. So he was already a pretty good guy then. But when he changed himself, it became better. Yeah, so what's a theme that you can learn there? I actually have a theme, but I just don't know how to put it into words, but I'll try to, put it out later, okay? But anyway, so, do you think that, how do you think that is sort of related to the emperor here? And why is that the emperor did not like the story? Well, because, the emperor has power, and so he's like, I'm strong and mighty. But he himself is one of the evils, right? And so, also, I think that, he just was like, that's me. And he's like, oh man, I did not like the story. So, okay, now, and do you think that the emperor will learn from this story? Like, will be like, oh, so I need to get this right? Or do you think that he's gonna be the same old, mean tiger emperor? Or emperor tiger? Or just evil emperor? Or the emperor? You can put it any way you want. And if you don't like the tiger emperor, because like, I love tigers. They're my favorite animals. And I just don't want to be like, tiger emperor is like evil, but I love tigers. So if you want, you can do like another bad animal. Just think of a bad animal and just name it that. It's like, for example, I'm gonna name him, oh yes, Centipede Emperor. Even though it just doesn't have the same, like the same thing to it, like as the Tiger Emperor, but still, like, it's not bad. Centipede Emperor just sounds wrong though, so I'm gonna have to think about that. Okay, but anyway, chapter 67. Okay, now, Yi Shen and Pimei were allowed in after waiting, right? If you had been one of the soldiers, would you have been surprised that they went in, or would you have been used to that kind of thing here? Okay, but anyway, at first, so now I wanted to talk about sort of like the description of the palace, and let me just read this, okay? This paragraph. They stepped out into the immense courtyard with red walls and columns carved green and gold. 5 marble bridges lay ahead of them, their jutting posts like bones of a skeleton. As they walked over one of the bridges, Pimei looked down and saw a fish trapped in the ice. She shivered. So at first it was like these red walls and columns and these like carved green and gold, and it was so beautiful. And then they saw, like the author, Grace Lin, she's like, bridges jutting out like skeleton, right? So skeleton, bones from a skeleton. How do you think that sort of, how do you think that the description sort of, what do you think that the description sort of would tell a person who, let's say, who was visiting the palace? Like, what would that description sort of like tell you if you have been a visitor? It would have been like, it's beautiful enough, but there's some bad things hidden among it. Yeah, right? Like the emperor. Okay, now, so they finally get to the emperor, and the last sentence in the chapter is, in front of them was the emperor. So, I have a question. How do you think that made a great ending to the chapter? Like, yeah, why do you think so? Well, I think, before that, if you had been Grace Lin, would you have ended your chapter like that, or would you have made it a little longer? How do you think that you would have ended the chapter? Like, at what point of chapter, at chapter 67, where would you have ended it? Yeah, I think I would have ended right here. Yeah, because I really like that. Or I could do that, or I could just end that's this one. I like this one, okay? I'll end it here. Now, chapter 68, right? Oh, I'm getting really, really, really excited here, right? Okay, but anyway, so Yi Shen like fell to the ground, right? Letting her forehead like touch. But Pinmei, okay? But Yishin didn't really do that. He was just like, yeah, right? So why do you think that Yishin wasn't that afraid? And let's go back in the book, okay? So let's go back to the part. Yes, to chapter 67. And so when they were let in, Yishin was like, "Goodbye, gentlemen," Yishin said with a wink. And Pinmei marveled at his composure, right? And now he's doing it again. He isn't that scared. And he doesn't show, and he's composed when they go in. He's not that scared. Why do you think that he isn't scared? Why do you think that he's not scared? And do you think that this is relating to his secret? And again, what do you think that his secret is? I unfortunately, somebody told a spoiler about the whole secret when I was just starting the book. So, it's hard for me, but still, yes, I'm not gonna say anything about that. Okay, but anyway, this emperor, right? Okay, but anyway, so this emperor, right? He's cruel and mean. And what animal does he actually really remind you of? Tiger, right? Even if I don't want to really say that. And what are a few word choices that the author uses to really show that he is like a tiger? Inside, he's actually a tiger. Okay, now I can do this. I'm gonna give you a few parts of the sentence of the text. One is this: all she saw were the emperor's piercing black eyes. Most animals have piercing black eyes. Let me just tell you, I was freaked out by a cat that just come out of nowhere when I was taking a walk, so I know piercing black eyes. Even though I think that cat's eye were actually like auburn, yellow, I'm not very sure. But okay, and also another thing is it was here somewhere, but it just, at times they just disappear. So maybe it's in the next chapter. But anyway, I wanted to ask you, do you think that everything is going to work out and that Pinmei is going to save Amma and everything will be happy? Or do you think that something will happen? And maybe, what do you think that twist or something is? I think that maybe like the emperor or something be like, "You! It's actually a trap, and now I'm going to kill you." Something like that. But anyway, I might say a lot about, I was actually reading a book that was actually sort of like the same thing, except it was Egyptian mythology. And yeah, but it's actually about a boy and a girl in Egyptian mythology, and they're trying to get to this place, but I think, in my opinion, it's a trap, but not 100% sure here. Now, chapter 69. Okay, so how does the emperor uses his power? And do you think that China will benefit from how he uses his power, or do you think that China will not benefit? And how would you describe him using his power? One word to describe how he uses his power here. Okay, I think that one would be, and you can do it from the emperor's point of view, somebody else's point of view, your point of view. I would call it terrible, but I could also call it mean and cruel and unkind. Oh yes, I could call it a lot of things, okay? But those are just a few of them that came into my mind immediately, right? And so Pinmei realized that he doesn't trust anyone, right? Everybody is everyone is an enemy, because there was this person, right, a food taster, so there wasn't any poison, right? And so why do you think that really made Pinmei have some pity for the emperor? Why do you think that sort of piece of information, why do you think that sort of made her pity the emperor? And because of that, do you pity the emperor, or do you not pity the emperor that much? Well, I don't really pity the emperor that much, but I can sort of see why Pinmei would pity, you know? The emperor, he has no friends at all. Even though from the way that he's acting, he sort of deserves it, but still, you know? Okay, but anyway, finally, Pinmei saw Ama, right? And did you actually think that Ama was going to be okay looking? Or did you think that Ama was going to be terrible looking? What did you think? Okay, now chapter 70. Oh, right to chapter 70. I'm real proud. Chapter 70, guys. Whoa. Okay, but anyway, so even though Ama was thinner and a little grayish, she was still Ama, right? And did you think that saving Ama was going to be easy or not? Okay, but anyway, so the emperor told Pinmei to say a story, right? Tell a story. Did you think that Pinmei was gonna repeat one of the stories, or did you think that she was gonna make a new story? But anyway, she did the story of our mountain. And she begins to tell a lot, right? And I really like this story. And who do you think that the story was about? The emperor, right? And how do you think that the story here, what are a few traits that you learned about the emperor in this story? You could actually do 5 if you wanted, or you could just only do 2. 5 is really recommended. That's for like masters, okay? But if you still do 2, that's really good, okay? Okay, I'm gonna just do 3. I could do 5. Actually, I'm just gonna do 5. Okay, 1. Okay, 1 is afraid. 2, foolish. 3, indignant. 4, stubborn. 5, cowardly. You did it. 5. Woo! What about you? I'm pretty sure you could do 10 of them if you wanted, okay? Here's a really cool trick I learned. Just get a thesaurus. Really easy. Just be like synonyms for foolish, and then you can get 10 of them. Voila, you're done. but if you don't want to cheat, then you don't have to cheat. But I wouldn't say that a thesaurus would be cheating. But please don't do all the words. At least have 3. At least have one or 2 of your words original. Okay. Okay, but anyway, so there was this voice on the mountain, right? And so what do you think that the voice who do you think is speaking here? Or where do you think that the voice really comes from here? Who do you think is speaking this voice? I think it's maybe the mountain itself or the old man of the moon, either one, right? Or maybe the old man of the moon, he's thinking these thoughts and the emperor just hears it, right? Okay, but anyway, so the voice says this, right? The voice says this. Were you a man transformed into a green tiger, or were you a green tiger that was transformed into a man? What do you think is better? A man transformed into a tiger, a green tiger, or a man who was transformed from a green tiger to a man? What do you think? I think that it was the second one, because the emperor, he still has sort of this green tigerly thing inside, and it's sort of outside, the piercing eyes. His attitude is just everywhere, but he just looks like a man. But inside, he's still a tiger, right? And what do you think that this sort of showed about Pinmei when she told the story? What's a trait that you can immediately tell from her, 1 or 2 traits? Me? She's brave. She has courage, right? And 2, that she's really standing up. So I really like that about her, okay? Now, finally, after the story was over, Emperor was so mad, right? And then finally, in a way, somehow Ama got to gag off, and she said, Ishin, Pinmei, he doesn't want the stone. It's a trap. an amazing way to end the story, right? But not the story, but the chapter, right? And so I have a question. What do you think that he was actually after? Because I actually stopped and thought, what is he after? So what do you think that he's after here? And also why do you think that the Emperor, like the luminous stone, right? Why do you think that the Emperor used the luminous stone as a trap? Why didn't he use something else? Why the luminous stone? Okay, now, and why do you think that he wants Pinmei and Yishen and not just other random person? Why Pinmei and Yishen? Why do you think that he wants those little kids? Like, why would he want them? But anyway, anyway, we're going to chapter 71, okay? And so, the Emperor was like cruelly laughing. I said, yes, he's right. And so, I know, now we learned that, Yishen is the ginseng boy and Old Man of the Moon, Spirit of the Mountain, right? Wow. That is pretty cool. And so now, I wanted to ask you, do you think that Yishen should have just told his secret? Or do you think that Yishen should not have told a secret? Why or why not? I think that he should a little bit, but at the other time, if he actually told a secret, something just wouldn't be a little right. Like, it would be a little more nerve-wracking, and he just didn't want Pinmei to think maybe not strange. Pinmei would never think that, but sort of just to be more comfortable with Pinmei and all that, and so it's just better, right? Okay, but anyway, why do you think that he wants the ginseng boy? Well, I think that the ginseng boy in another, I don't know, but I think I said like if you ate the ginseng boy, then you will like have a long life or like you'll become immortal. I'm not very sure, but yeah. But anyway, also suddenly Yishen he gasped and threw the snow, and then this monkey, the monkey was trying to get it, House of Wu, but the stone and the monkey couldn't move, right? But anyway, so the Emperor, right? The Emperor is about to kill the ginseng boy so that he can become immortal, right? And did you actually think that Yishen was going to die here or not? Suddenly Pinmei screamed and just grabbed the Emperor. It didn't work, right? But then she saw the needle, iron rod, right? And she pulled it out. Like, when she pulled it out, like, what did you expect to happen? And anyway, so the needle, right? Okay, but anyway, like the iron rod, right? What did you think about everything that the Emperor had done? Were you surprised about like how we found out that the tortoise was trapped on the shirt? Or were you like, that figures? How did you react toward that? Me? I was like, oh my god, What about you? And then, yeah, again, what did you expect to happen? The sky bellowed, right? It was like ripping everything apart. Like everything was like going haywire, right? And so, now, I have a question. Did you think that Pinmei and Yishen and Amal were going to die or not? Okay, but anyway, so did you think that the Emperor was going to die or not? Okay, but anyway, the Emperor like this, he crashed to the ground, right? And then suddenly a column like just crashed on top of him, right? And did you think that the Emperor was dead, or did you think that the Emperor was still alive? What did you think? And so anyway, also, okay, so, what did you think was happening, and who do you think, or what do you think was causing it, okay? But anyway, it lasted only for, like a minute, right? Like, maybe just 30 seconds, and then it stopped, right? And did you think that Black Taurus of the Winter, do you think that he actually made his revenge on the Emperor, or do you think that no, he didn't? That the Black Taurus of the Winter was just trying to get free? What do you think about that? Okay, and then everything was silent. Silent. Okay? And so, like, how do you think that maybe this was a good ending to that chapter? And, like, when it was silent, right? How did you expect, like, the rest of the palace and the people to be? Well, it was in bad shape, of course, right? And then we look at Amal, right? And she's really hurt. And did you think that Amal was going to die? Or did you think that there was going to be some hope, and how? Now, chapter 73, right? Pinmei ran to Amal. And finally, Yishen had poked his finger. Something came out, right? And so he put it in the rabbit rice bowl, right? And like the drop. And suddenly it just became like this golden stuff, right? Clear golden liquid. And then finally, but when Pinmei looked at the bowl, it was like full, right? What do you think happened? And how do you think that this might help Amal? But anyway, so Amal got better, right? So how do you think that Yishen's sort of, I guess, blood sort of made Amal better here? Okay, but anyway, so now chapter 54, right? Pinmei turned around to look at Yishen, but instead of the boy that she knew, she saw this old man, right? And so what I really wanted to ask you was, were you surprised about how that Yishen had two sides? And how do you think that if Yishen had said this, it would have made it, I guess, a little awkward or a little strange? And also, do you think that Yishen should have sort of, like made himself old to save Amal? And if you have been Yishen, would you have done the same, or would you be like, me? Given my young age? No. How would you be like? Okay, now, also, anyway, so Yishen goes up, right, into the mountains. It's beautiful, and so, do you think that, now, okay, so, okay, I have another question. It says, so we learned that the Emperor is still immortal. What did you think? Was still alive, right? Was immortal. And it was stories, right? Because of stories. And how do you think that because of stories, the Emperor, how do you think that he would be still alive? And what was your guess? Well, in stories, they can be told over and over and over and over and over and over and over, right? And so, I'm right now reading the story, and hundreds of years later, people will be like reading When the Sea Turned to Silver, and they'll be like, and there was this emperor named the Tiger Emperor, and he will still be alive in the story, right? And it's just amazing how, this happened. And then everything was happy, right? Look at this amazing picture that Graceland made. And then and then Yishen went up onto the mountain. Everything was happy. Wow, it was a great ending, right? And so what I wanted to ask you was, do you think that the ending here, did the ending satisfy you, or did you want more? Okay? And what do you predict is really going to happen to Pinmei when she grows up? What do you think will happen to Pinmei when she grows up? What do you think that she'll be? My guess, the master storyteller of China. Okay, and also, another thing I wanted to ask you was about Amal, right? Amal and Pinmei and Yishen. And even though it wouldn't be completely normal, how do you think that, I guess for maybe for the rest of their lives, do you think that's gonna be do you think it's gonna be chaotic anymore? Or do you think it's just gonna be happy and calm And so now, finally, we're going to go to chapter 75, and it was the Black Tortoise. And it was like, I'm free, right? And it's just, it was a pretty short chapter, but during that, did you think that the ending to the Black Tortoise was a good one or not? And do you think that the Black Tortoise of the Winter, what are a few words that you would describe, that you would use to describe how we felt when he went up? And you can use about 3 or 4, maybe 5. Okay, here's a few. Amazing, beautiful, awesome. And then I could also, and maybe another one would be happy. Well, no, not happy. That could be too obvious. What about free? And sort of he would feel a little joyful. And I think that I will feel a lot of things. It's just, I have a word in my mind, but I forgot how to pronounce it. I just forgot how to say it, but I know what it means, but I just don't know what the English term is here, because I also speak some Korean, and so, and I just know something, but yeah, I don't know how to say it in English. Okay, but anyway, chapter 76. Anyway, so there's Siphon and Yana and there's everybody, right? And it's just a really good ending here. And anyway, so and yeah, everyone's so happy. Everybody's meeting together. And how do you think that Gracelyn sort of made the story? At the end, how do you think that she sort of made it to make something why do you think that she made all the characters sort of come in again? I think that's because, people want to see their characters again. Maybe they just want to see their characters, right? And that's really cool because Gracelyn did it, right? And then Siphon said, I love stories. And so even Amon decided to tune in. And this time, Pinmay is the one who was telling the story. So how did you feel about this? And if you had been Pinmay, how would you have felt that you were telling the story here? And also, she starts with when the sea turned to silver, right? And why do you think that was such a good ending? Or maybe a bad ending, but do you think that it was a good ending or not? And if you think it was a good ending, like me, then why do you think that it was such a good ending? Okay? And the story, right? And she tells the story. It's beautiful. Yeah, we don't actually get to hear it, but maybe the story that she tells is this, right? Because here's the really cool. Here's the thing, right? Chapter 1 starts with when the sea turned silver. So we might be reading Pinmay's story in what Pinmay's telling in this book, right? And how do you think it makes this book more special? And finally, last question until I get to my normal questions at the end. Okay? And do you think it is? What do you think that, because everything's ending, what do you think might be one thing, Pinmay, yeah, again, what do you predict for Pinmay? What do you think that she's gonna be? Where do you think that she's gonna live? And what do you think might be a few things that she would do every day? Because she might do something special, maybe visit Lady Meng, right? Or maybe she could, maybe tell children's stories, like a daily story time or something. What do you think might be one thing that she might do every day, or at least sometimes? Sometimes when she grows up, because there's actually isn't a sequel to this one, because this is the last book of the series. And the other books are When the Mountain Meets the Moon and Where the Mountain Meets the Moon and Starry River of the Sky. And yeah, we're done. I'm so happy, guys, and I'm sad, but I'm also really happy. So hope that you really enjoyed When the Sea Turned to Silver, Few Last Christmas. What was your favorite character in the book? Mine was, I have to say maybe Yi Shen here. I like Yi Shen. And what was your least favorite character? The Emperor. Okay, now, so what was your favorite part in the chapters that we just reviewed? Chapters 65 to the end of the book. I really liked the end. It was so, like when the Black Tortoise went out, because it was such an epic ending to an epic story. And after that, I was so happy, right? Now, what was your favorite part in the whole book, okay? Because we've covered the whole book, guys. It's so amazing. So what was your favorite part? But if you can't choose, or if you like the whole book, then you can do 2 or 3. But if you like the whole book, then that's perfectly fine. It's actually awesome because you like the whole book. Now, we've already done predictions, but if you want, you can do it again just to see if you have any more ideas and predictions, okay? And now, finally, how did you like the book? Because Graceland has made so many other books. So, how did you like When the Sea Turned to Silver, guys? Hope that you loved it. Make some good reviews or bad reviews, like whatever you think about this book, and just hope that you really enjoyed doing this book with me. And just say how you liked it. What about a few words to describe this book? Me, amazing, awesome, cool, but touching. And if you want, you can put it in sentences. Touching, heartwarming, and really, it really touches the heart here, and emotional here too, epic, adventurous, and really human-like. Like people, they aren't always like brave and strong. And we sort of see this like Pinmei, she's at times terrified. And so I really like this book, and I hope that you did too. Okay, and so now. Keep reading, guys, because it's awesome. And have a great rest of your day or night. I always want to be fair tonight. Have a great rest of your day or night. Okay? Keep reading because it's awesome.